Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So this is the Honor Magic V5, the new thinnest and lightest foldable phone in the world. This phone just launched in China like minutes ago, but good news. A global version is coming. I know because the unit I have here actually is running the global ROM. Now unfortunately, this global software is not quite ready yet, so I can't do a full review. So this video is not a review, but just like a first look hands-on. But it's good to know that this phone is coming worldwide. So the Honor Magic V5, the thinnest and lightest foldable phone, Honor is really keen to hit that point home. And I can't understand because 6 months ago, Oppo took that title from them. Now, to be honest, the Honor Magic V5 regains that title just barely. This phone measures 8.8 millimeters when it's folded. The Oppo Find M5 measures 8.9 millimeters when it's folded. So we're talking about 0.1 millimeters of difference. And this gold model here weighs 222 grams, but there's a lighter version in white that measures 217 grams. That is also lighter than the Oppo Find M5's like 227 grams, but we're talking about a difference of under 10 grams, and to be honest, in the hand, you're not really gonna notice a difference. But I have to give credit to Honor because they did not compromise on hardware components just to get this phone slim, because all three cameras here, they're either 50 or 64 megapixel cameras, and the Periscope zoom lens got an upgrade over last year's Magic V3. That's a big difference from the Oppo Find M5, which managed to slim down by taking a slight downgrade in all the camera hardware, including a notoriously weak 8 megapixel camera. On top of that, the battery in here, a 5,820 mAh cell, is larger than last year's V3 despite being thinner, and also larger than the Oppo Find M5's battery too. So we have one of the largest batteries in a foldable yet in the thinnest and lightest body. Let's take a look at the rest of the hardware. So you have a 7.95-inch OLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, PPI of over 400, LTPO panel. It gets up to 5,000 nits of maximum brightness, so absolutely beautiful panel. And the crease is very faint. Even when I run my finger through it, I don't really feel it. And the good news is you have parity on both displays. On the outside screen, 6.45-inch, also LTPO, also 120 Hz, also 5,000 nits of brightness, and PPI of over 400. So this is a resolution that's north of 2K. So this one's powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite, the absolute best chip you're going to find in Android, paired with 16 gigs of RAM, so performance is not going to be an issue. And also this phone's certified IP59 for water and dust resistance rating. So the dust resistance isn't as strong as a typical flagship, but it's much stronger than what we've seen from previous foldable phones, many of which don't even have dust resistance. This phone is so thin, if you look at the USB-C port, the edge of the USB-C port basically touches the edge of the phone, like the outside panel of the phone. So meaning this phone cannot go any thinner without getting rid of this USB-C port. And also this phone comes with a very nice case, vegan leather, that covers the hinge. Even with the case on, this guy still feels thinner than like my Vivo X200 Ultra by itself. That's how thin the Honor Magic V5 is. It's an incredible feat of engineering. Okay, now as for the cameras, I can't talk about them too much because the software is not ready, but the hardware is looking promising. So you have a 50 megapixel main camera, f1.6 aperture. This appears to be the exact same hardware as last year's V3, but the ultra-wide camera got improved because last year was a 40 megapixel ultra-wide, this year is a 50 megapixel ultra-wide, and the Periscope zoom lens last year was a 50 megapixel periscope. This year is a 64 megapixel periscope, and the aperture is faster. Last year was f3, this is f2.5. So going by hardware, the Periscope zoom lens and the ultra-wide got an upgrade over the Magic V3's camera system. But then on top of that, it's not just all about hardware. Honor's camera software has added this one thing that I really like. It's film simulation profile. So you go into portrait mode, if you tap onto the filters, you now have like a bunch of different filters on top of the Studio Hardcore filter, which I like a lot. But now you have these like kind of film simulation filters that kind of produce images that look like they were captured by like a Fujifilm camera or like a vintage camera. Again, the software is not finished, so I cannot review this camera, can't test it thoroughly, but just look at some samples here. I think they look pretty good, and the color science of the film simulation filters look good. Another awesome addition to Honor's software is an improved multitasking system that kind of borrows liberally from Oppo and OnePlus's multitasking system, which I have been raving about a lot. So for example, you can open two apps at the same time, but you see, they're not locked to the screen. They basically, you can zoom in and out dynamically. When I tap onto this Instagram right here, ooh, okay, let's make this story a little bit bigger. So I can have Instagram and Chrome kind of running at near full screen and jump back and forth between the two. It jumps in and out. This, we first saw this in Oppo's foldables, and I said I want this on every phone, and I'm glad Honor has adopted this. And of course, you can also open a third app with this pull out menu right here in the floating window. And of course, Honor's global phones, the phones that sell outside of China, have had a really strong list of AI features in the past couple of years. I think, just as good as whatever Samsung's offering. So I expect to have all that here, including on the Honor 400, there's VO2, which allows you to turn a picture into a moving video. I expect to be able to do that on this phone. It's not here yet, but again, the software is not finished. This is going to be a pretty well-rounded foldable. Like, you can't think of any weakness. Like, it has water resistance officially, it has wireless charging, it has a pretty good camera system, it's thin and light, it's not heavy, and I'm pretty sure it's super durable. Honor has not advertise how many times the hinge can be folded, but Honor's hardware has been impeccable in the past, so I expect this to continue the trend. So yeah, this is a quick look at the Honor Magic V5. Like I said, not a full review because the software is not finished. When the software, the final software gets updated, I will do a full review of this guy and a camera test against other foldables on the market. As of right now, this is looking very promising. Honor Magic V5. That's about it for now. I have a lot more coming in the next few days. A lot of stuff is launching. I have all those phones on me right now, actually. So if you're interested in checking those out, please subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.